Hey there. Today we are headed back to the property to cut some more treetops. Had 30 trees removed and went out here with my Husqvarna 450, started cutting, and the Husqvarna 450 gave me some problems last year, and I had to have a new carburetor put in it. And this year, again, it's just not running right. So yesterday I went out and I bought a Husqvarna 440e, and it's got a smaller bar on it. It's an 18-inch bar rather than a 20-inch bar, but it runs okay. And I'm not cutting huge trees, just again, treetops, firewood basically. And we'll show you how it goes here. So I went out and bought a new chainsaw. This is just an 18-inch bar. My 450 has a 20-inch bar on it. 450 wasn't running right. It's the weekend. I don't have a lot of time to, take it into a shop and that sort of thing. The weather is getting bad, so I just bought a new chainsaw, and in my opinion, you can't have enough chainsaws. So I've had that 450 for a few years, and I've been overall happy with it. I had a new carburetor put in it last year, and didn't use it that much after that, but it's just not acting right. And that being said, I did leave gas in it. So I'll take it in and have it repaired. But meanwhile, I just bought this one. So it's a little bit smaller, which is fine. Because I'm mainly, it's a little bit smaller. I'm mainly cutting up treetops, that sort of thing. A little bit lighter on the hand, so that will be okay. Let me put a little bar oil in here. So this one was, less than a few $100 at Lowe's, and I've got it nice and full now. And away we go. So this is really similar to my other Husky. So again, my other one is a 450, this is a 440. Main difference I'm seeing is there's a little button up here that when you're starting it, but the kind of the cool thing is they have the instructions on how to get this thing fired up, because if you own a chainsaw, you know that starting a chainsaw is probably the worst part of running a chainsaw. So it's 1, 2, and then 3 is pull. So there were some other steps in the 450. So flip this up to choke, push this in 6 times, and then pull. And simply a matter of flipping the choke up, pressing this 6 times, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once it makes that initial sound, so we're good to go. Let's go cut some wood. This is just one part of the treetop. These trees were big and old, so just this treetop is probably 30 foot long. So a lot of good firewood. I don't need it all. Here's what I did yesterday and the day before. And we'll get cracking on the rest of this stuff today. So even a mid-level chainsaw can make pretty quick work out of smaller trees. I started a fire over here yesterday. Let's see if I can go back and reignite that thing for the third day in a row. So it's a little bit later in the day, but I'm going to see if I can get this stuff fired back up. Push this over real quick. Get it out of my way. There we go. I can still feel the heat. Maybe we get lucky. We got flames. Taking a little break here. So let's talk about chainsaws. If you're not familiar with chainsaws, and I'm not an expert at chainsaws, I can use them. Chainsaws are a fantastic tool. They make hard work so much easier. They're also really dangerous. If you are out, and I'm a hunter, as some of you may know, and I hear people say, well, you know, if I cut my leg with a chainsaw, I'll just, you know, jump in a car and drive to the hospital. Well, what makes you think that you're going to, you know, if you're out here on your own, what makes you think that you're going to be able to jump in the car? And I hear the same thing from hunters. Well, if I fall out of the tree stand because I'm not wearing a harness, I'll just, you know, call somebody. What makes you think that you're going to be able to reach in your pocket if you fall out of a tree stand? You know, people die like this all the time. And, you know, the first few times that you run a chainsaw, you realize, you know, how quickly that chain runs through wood. I mean, it would just make a mess of your leg in an instant. So it's something that you want to be careful with, most definitely. Do I wear all the protective gear? I don't. But I also am careful, right? When I start getting tired and my arms start to sag a little bit, I take a break. You know, so you just want to be careful. The other thing about chainsaws is that I have learned in the last couple of years, and I don't know all of the details with this stuff, so I'll give it to you in layman's terms. The people that make our gas for our cars are putting all types of detergents and shit in that fuel now because our cars require it, because the advancement of the cars or what have you. The problem is our two-cycle engines, like our chainsaws and our weed whackers and all that stuff, they're just getting crushed by this fuel because it will literally just eat away at the fuel lines of these products, like I said, chainsaws, snow blowers, weed whackers, all that stuff. And then what happens is a person who's just not really aware of this, they start cussing the manufacturer of the chainsaw. Oh, you know, you make a piece of garbage. Well, it's actually the gas that you're putting in it. So these manufacturers have come out with, and I'll show you this one here, if I can do it here, right? So, and I'm not sponsored by anything, right? So whatever your manufacturer is, whether it's a Steel or a Husqvarna or whatever, right? They have this fuel that you can buy. You can cap it back up. It lasts for a long time. It's already two-cycle mixed. So it takes all of that problem out of the picture. So, you know, I'd highly recommend getting this stuff, and then obviously some bar oil. But, you know, that's the ins and outs of chainsaws. And then it's just a matter of, you know, getting the damn thing started. So I am now the owner of 3 chainsaws, 2 Husqvarnas and 1 Steel electric that I just bought to actually cut the barn up. but that is the electric one for the slaughter that you guys will see once I start building the barn. And that's all I'm going to use that one for. I actually considered bringing it out here today and just firing up the generator, but I just don't want to dull that blade. I want to keep it as sharp as I can, and I, you know, I just didn't want anything to go wrong with it. So I went and you know, grabbed that new Husqvarna 440, and it's been running great. You know, the funny thing about it is, as you're running a chainsaw, you don't realize how quickly those blades get dull until you get a new chain on it, and it's like you're cutting through trees like butter. So I would recommend, you know, sharpening your chain after every big use. You know, if you cut a branch, whatever. But if you're out here, you know, cutting away at wood all day, you know, I would certainly recommend after you're done for the day to, you know, sharpen that chain and have it ready for the next time, because nobody wants to sharpen a chain before you go to cut wood. So, you know, sharpen it when you're done for the day and have it ready for the next time, you know. So, but that's the ins and outs of chainsaws. They're not complicated. You just have to be careful. I have to tighten up this bar some. It worked its way loose, which is kind of typical of a chainsaw when you're working. So what I like to do is I'll just grab it. I don't have my gloves on. Put my gloves on here, and I'll just pull it out some, good and tight again. And there we go. So when you get your bar stuck, inevitably you will. Sometimes when they're laying here, you just can't see where the pressure is at. The fix for it is to take a little off the top and then come in from the bottom on a slightly, you know, like a slight half inch over, not even a half inch, and it will break the log. I have a bad habit of not doing it. So I end up having to do this, which is, you know, no fun. But, and you get, you know, don't underestimate how heavy these logs are. You'll get in some situations, and I do it all the time, unfortunately, that, I mean, you are just jammed up. Next thing you know, you're jerking around for 20 minutes trying to get your damn bar out of there. If you do it right the first time, you don't have the problem. And on top of that, you can damage your chainsaw. You can bend your bar, you can do all kinds of stuff. Chain, you can loosen your chain. So let me tighten up this chain. Never bring your chainsaw out without your strange. but we're getting somewhere. And that's what matters. Slowly but surely, we're getting somewhere. These glasses drive me crazy. Up until the last couple of years, I didn't need glasses at all, and these things are always sliding off my stupid face. I know what a lot of you are thinking, and that's, well, why don't you get something to move that wood? You know, you got a point, but one, it's 15 feet, 25 feet. Two, I really need the exercise. And for a lot of the implements that that you can use on a farm or a homestead, I don't have right now, and they cost money. And I've spent my money in other places. So I'm trying to do this on my budget, and that means manpower, not. The job I get paid for, I sit in a chair all day. I mean, all day. So at 51, it's very easy for me to put on weight. So when I start getting too heavy, I just come out here and do some manual labor. So the guy who cut these trees down, he cut 30 last year, cut 30 again this year. He is milling them up, and they will be the siding for the barn. So I traded him some for that. A couple, mostly oak, hickory, and a couple walnut, but nothing spectacular in the walnut. I still have a few walnuts that we're gonna let stay here. Obviously there's a premium for walnut. So if you have a lot of walnuts, you know, I think that and this was going by last time's prices, I think they were almost 2 or 3 times the value of oak. So you could take one walnut and that would be the equivalent of 2 or 3 oak trees. So, but yeah, you know, I don't have any softwood on the property whatsoever. It has some cedar. But other than that, it's all hardwood forest. And it's beautiful. I mean, in the spring and summer, it's absolutely stunning. It looks kind of like a winter right now. The leaves gone, but it's still